Well, it is such a beautiful morning and a good day to do an update video. We're going to do updates on plants that I have for sale currently, ones that I'm propagating and continuing to grow out, and we're also going to take a sneak peek at some of the projects that I'm currently working on. I've got my experiments going right here, testing out certain plants in smaller containers, just trying to see, which ones work before I commit a whole storage tote to them. But this Japan pennywort, man, is going crazy. You can see it's just filling out this container and growing up the sides on the inside. And I actually started a new container of it, 2 weeks ago, and it's already spreading very fast. I mean, it's a really fast growing plant. And that's the area that I took the cuttings from to plant the new container, new tote. And man, it's already about to fill in that corner. So I've got plenty of this stuff to sell. I've got it listed on eBay. So if you need some Japan pennywort, be sure to check out the listing. I also have a lot of pearlweed. This is really spreading out, filling in nicely. Taking cuttings of that and started a new tote. And that's about a week old. It's already taken off. So this is available on eBay as well. The Juncus repens, looks like a lawn in there. It's really crazy. But I just started another tote a few weeks ago, so I'm trying to get 2 full totes before I start selling any of this. So it's not quite ready yet, but it will be coming available in the near future, hopefully. We've had a significant amount of rain over these last few days. These white hibiscus keep getting blown over in the wind. But I'm amazed at how fast these have grown. I started them from seed last year, and they already are so tall. This will be their first year to flower, so I'm looking forward to seeing that in the next few weeks. But really pleased with how well these plants are growing. Many of them are experimental or just random propagations. Others I am growing out to sell, like the water celery. It has quickly filled up this pot, and I've already been propagating cuttings of it, but it may be next year before I have enough to sell. And many of the cardinal flowers, Lobelia cardinalis, are still blooming out of season. And of course, they're really going to light up with these red flowers in late summer, around September or so. I have several dwarf umbrella sedge for sale currently on eBay. Here are a few that are available, so they're a great size right now. I also have plenty of pickerel rush available still. This whole tub is full of it. It's blooming heavily right now and really attracts a lot of pollinators, various bees and butterflies. It's great at filtering pond water. Here's the other group of ricefish. Now I haven't gotten as many eggs from these, probably because the container is bigger and they're depositing eggs in other places, not just on the spawning mops. Here's the mother plant of the umbrella sedge. I've really been amazed at how cold hardy it has been. This tub, along with the Brazilian pennywort that's growing in it, was outside all through the winter. And our lowest temp was 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which that's pretty cold, unusually cold for our area, but it really goes to show you how tough these plants are. Both plants survived and are coming back prolifically. And here in the greenhouse, I've got some cuttings of the water celery started. I've got some more umbrella sedge cuttings going, and some of them are starting to put on some new growth. So always a good sign to see new growth. Got some equisetum or horsetail rush, cuttings of that going. Some calicasia, mojito is going back here, and they're going to take some time, but they'll fill out. Some of the Acorus, Japanese sweet flag, got it going. Some Bacopa caroliniana, cuttings of the pothos and philodendron. I've also got some more seedlings of red hibiscus, red star hibiscus coming out, so it's looking really well. The fiddle leaf fig growing in this stock tank pond has put on about a foot of new growth, and it's really cool to see that. The monstera is also putting on new leaves. We've got a few new ones here. Peace lilies in the back are continuing to bloom like crazy, and syngonium is sending out runners. So this tropical pond is really rocking along. I moved all the house plants growing out of my 75-gallon tank out into this tub, and there are some ricefish fry in here, but they're still too small to capture on video. In this little patio pond, however, I have been able to gather a lot of ricefish eggs. I check the mops every day, and looks like nothing for today, but when I do find them, I've been putting them over into this other little mini pond to hatch out. And we can see several of them in there at different stages of growth. Some are still too small for video, but it's always exciting to see new life coming into the world. And a sneak peek at what I'm working on now. I am redoing this 75-gallon tank. For a long time I've had houseplants growing all at the back, all the way up to the ceiling. But now I've decided to change it up. So I usually do something slightly different every year or 2 years. But this time I wanted to do something completely different. Still going to be a riparium, but we're going to use totally different plants. So we'll see. You'll get to see what I'm up to in a future video. Well, spoiler alert, I can't help myself. I'm growing pond plants out of this fish tank. Do you think it's going to work? Let me know in the comments. And in my 20 long, I'm experimenting with this grow light. This is the same light that I use for growing the emergent aquarium plants on the shelf that we looked at earlier. Well, I'm testing it out as an aquarium light. So we're going to see how this works out. It's only been a few days. I got a few newer plants in here. I went ahead and planted some Japan pennywort. Want to see how it responds. Of course, the red tiger lotus I think would grow with any light, as well as some of these other nymphaea and dwarf sagittaria. But anyway, this is an ongoing experiment, so we'll see how this turns out. And I'm testing a new aquarium light, and we're doing a dry start on the Japan pennywort. So I'll fill this up slowly over time, and we'll see how well it can grow the pennywort as a low-growing foreground plant, mid-ground, and background. So I'm going to hopefully have different levels of this pennywort all through the tank. It's going to be a product review on this light when this tank gets ready, maybe a little while yet. Out here in the garage, I've got a little project going on. I set up this 55-gallon tank for this express purpose of growing out some Pogostemen stellatus. And as you can see, there's no substrate in the bottom. I just used pond baskets to put substrate in. And so I'm trying to make this tank kind of interchangeable so that during the season, during the wintertime, whatever, I can switch out plants easily between here and outdoors. I do have some Pogostemen growing outside in some of the ponds as well, but wanted to get some started in here, and I'm just using a shop light. There's nothing special about this, just a little $20 shop light from Harbor Freight, but it's one I've used in the past for riparium plants, and it worked pretty well. I'm kind of testing it out for growing out aquarium plants. But I'm thinking, like, during the winter time, this garage is not insulated, but during the wintertime, I wrap this up with an insulation and stick a heater in there. That would probably be doable. And I do have a little filter going, and it's just a little water pump sponge filter. Anyway, finally making use of this aquarium stand, though. I've had it out here in the garage, just kind of in storage. Of course, I haven't finished the background. I'm still working on that, but that's going to have to be another project for another day. But at least I'm able to use this stand, and we'll see how it works. And here's another little pond that I put together a few months ago. I didn't make a video on it, but it's just got basic plant set up here, and got some guppies in there, and I need to thin out some of this salvinia again, but guppies are doing pretty good. And of course, I didn't drill any drainage holes in the side, so the water level is pretty high especially with all the rain we've been getting. But this horsetail, this equisetum, is really getting tall. It's up over my head. The dwarf equisetum has kind of been dying out on me. Like I'm still getting some new growth, but the older growth just almost develops like a crown rot and dies. And that's been the case in this little pond, and also in the containers I have of it growing over there. But I did plant some just in soil in this little window box, and it's actually doing much better. It's full, it's healthy, and starting to spread. So this is my first year growing dwarf equisetum, and so I've still got some more experimenting to do with it, but I'm hoping it will be hopefully it will be a plant that I want to continue growing. The Canas are starting to bloom. Got a few tall ones back here. This is the Cleopatra Cana. It's got that variegation of green and black. And this other variegated Cana is Bengal Tiger. And this is one of my favorites. I love that striped variegation. And it has a solid orange bloom. But some of these Cleopatras, wow, look at that. It's amazing. This one's about to bloom pretty soon. Some of the Cleopatras have a multicolored flower. Like some of the blooms will have red in them, then others will be solid red. Here's one that's red and yellow together. A little bee landing. Perfect timing. This is the mini pond that I made several months ago. I guess it was back in January, and I've been growing moss on this stone kind of waterfall. Now I'll get on the other side in a minute, but the moss is doing really well. I mean, it's continuing to grow. I did turn the pump off. There was a recirculating pump, but the water kept getting wicked over the edge too much, and it was dripping out. I was losing a significant amount of water. But the Aquarius in it is really taken off, and the bugleweed or ajuga, it's been growing well. It bloomed several times. Now the other plants, I had some Juncus repens growing back there and some Japan pennywort, but they have kind of faded out. Not sure if they just got choked out with the other plants, but for whatever reason they just didn't do very well. But the moss, I've got Java moss growing here along what used to be the waterfall, kind of in the back. That's where the water was coming out. But anyway, I hate that I had to turn the pump off because that was really cool to have it recirculating. But it's still doing what I was hoping it would. My main concern is the moss going to live? Now most of this is sheet moss. What's on the front is Java moss. But they look so similar, it's hard to tell the difference between them sometimes. That's the Java right there, and that's the sheet moss on top. I've got a dwarf water lily in there. You can kind of see it on the bottom, and a whole bunch of guppies, because that's what I have the most of, and they are in there for mosquito control. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to hang on to this or sell it. This is a mojito calocasia, or elephant ear, that I just got a few months ago, and it's already doubled in size easily. And I've taken some cuttings off of it that are in the greenhouse right now. So this is a project tank that I'm going to be working on hopefully in the near future. Fluval Flex 32 gallon. It's got the built-in Aquaski light on the hood, and of course built-in filtration system, and of course it's filthy. I've got to clean it up. It's going to pretty much be a product review on the Fluval tank. And this is a bow front, so it's going to look really nice, I think, once I have it cleaned up and scaped. I'm going to try to do a really nice aquascape in here.